The wait is finally over. President Bola Tinubu finally put out a list of 32 individuals and 17 of them for non-career ambassadorial position and 15 career ambassadorial positions. It's 2 years too late. A lot of people have been waiting for it, especially when we know that the ambassadors have a lot of impact on how outsiders view the country, especially with all the insurgencies and insecurity going on in Nigeria. So the president finally put out his list for the nominations. And if you look at the non-career ambassador positions, you can see a lot of politicians, maybe two or three former first ladies, former governors, former speakers, former commissioners, former senators, filling these positions. And it makes me wonder, are these people truly qualified for the position?
I think it's a pretty good list. I think it has a mix of people. The greatest one being that it has about 10 women on the list, which is a significant shift from men dominated area. But it looks like a lot of people have a problem with the list, me included. With some characters, according to Peter B, with some characters on the list. I think if we waited for almost for 2.5 years or getting to the third year of his presidency, if we waited for this long and only to be surprised with this list, I think is a bit disappointing.
Welcome to the Y&E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage us in the comment section. So we're chatting about the list that the president put out, the ambassadorial nominee list of about 32 individuals. And a lot of people have been reacting to it. So I'll let you go first. What do you think about the list?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good list. I think it has a mix of people. The greatest one being that it has about 10 women on the list, which is a significant shift from men dominated area. But it looks like a lot of people have a problem with the list, me included. With some characters, according to Peter B, with some characters on the list. I think if we waited for almost for 2.5 years or getting to the third year of his presidency, if we waited for this long and only to be surprised with this list, I think is a bit disappointing. I think most people, myself included, expected, a better list. But if you ask me who is supposed to be on that list, I don't think I can tell you. But I think a lot of people on this list, a lot of us are not expecting them to be there. Someone like Reno Mokri, although he hustled for it, I respect him. He definitely worked for it. And I think the Bible made mention that the laborer deserves a wage, basically he's compensated. Another person is a funny, FFK. I think the reason why most people do not quite like these two people, and even the former INEC chairman, Mahmudu Yakubu. I think the reason why people don't quite like them, especially Fani Kayode and Reno, is because of their flip-flopping nature. They always flip-flopping. They change their position like the way you change your boxers when you take a shower. Every time that is convenient for them, they change their positions. And I think people don't quite like that. And they always try to stir up conversations, stir up propaganda. And I don't think that is supposed to be a true character of a representative of the country in another country. For Mahmudu Yakubu, a lot of people see his appointment as a compensation for the job well done. And you can't fault the people that think like that, because if it is not, what is the criteria for appointing him if that is not the case? And is it the only person in the country? I think that Tinubu, like I always said, this is probably going to be the 5th or the 10th time I will say this. I like Tinubu as a person. I like him because he take care of his boys, but I don't like his kind of politics. That is my problem with him. He is trying so hard to prove people right, his critics right, that the 2023 election was bought and paid for, basically was rigged in his favor. And he has been doing everything to ensure that he proved the people that think like that right. Because otherwise, tell me why he appointed Yakubu Mahmudu. as ambassador. For what reason? There are other more qualified people that he would have appointed for that position. Yeah, he's a professor. I think they say he's a first class student in his first degree. But I'm also a historian, but with the circumstances surrounding the 2023 election, I think Tinubu should have never appointed him as an ambassador because, quite frankly, a lot of people will see his appointment as compensation for the job well done. And I like the fact that he take care of his boys. Him and Ajimobi were very, very close, and he ensured that he compensated Ajimobi's wife, and that is commendable on his part.
Yes, I definitely agree with your sentiments, and you're not crazy to think like that. It's just the situation of things. If you look at the former First Lady, Florence Ajimobi, she has been nominated, and it makes you wonder, is she qualified for the position or is she being compensated for the relationship between the president and her late husband? So people like that, you kind of wonder what drove the president to choose these people. And she's not only the former First Lady on the list. I believe the former First Lady of Ekiti State, Erelu Angela Adebayo. And you wonder, what do they have to offer to the Nigerian people? In what capacity can they play a role to make Nigeria better outside the country? But if you truly think about it, the positions are used to compensate their people, compensate their friends, their families, and the people that the president likes. So it looks like these are the president list or the president supporters list. These are non-career ambassadorial positions. So we don't know a lot of people on the career ambassadorial list, other than we can see a couple of ambassadors or former ambassadors on the list. But it is what it is. The president has the power to nominate whoever he wants, whether or not the people will be a true representation of the Nigerian people or the Nigerian message that the president is trying to put out there. So, yeah, the president has the power to do whatever he wants. He speaks to his people, and we'll see if the Senate is going to kick it back to him or the Senate is going to approve him. Historically, based on what this current Nigerian Senate has done, I don't see them sending any one on this list back. I don't see them rejecting anyone on this list. We know that they're rubber stamp for the president. So whatever the president wants, he's gonna get. And I'm sure the senators will not disappoint him. All of these people will scale through the process. Reno Amakri has spoken against it in the past, saying he's never going to work with President Bola Tinubu. But now we'll see if he's going to accept it or if he's going to say, no, I have my values or maybe my values have changed. But it is truly crazy. We know there's no job out there. People are looking for jobs. So this is another opportunity for them to be secured for another 2 to 4 years or 2 to 6 years. And they'll be set for the rest of their lives. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you. In fact, a lot of people are having a field day with Reno Mokri on across all the social media platforms. In fact, they are saying that he's the first man to change his DNA because he said that it's not in his DNA to work for Tinubu. That some people would do it, but it's not in his DNA. That is why a lot of people are, quite a bit disappointed in the list. And somehow I'm almost believing that Tinubu did not put that list together. Probably some guys put it together. Maybe his chief of staff or some of his boys in Asoro put up the list together and then just give it to him. Just like when they did the pardon, he himself did not put that pardon list together because otherwise there is no way he would have pardoned all of those people with drug related offenses, murder, kidnapping and stuff like that. So maybe the same thing is true with this ambassadorial list. Maybe he did not put it together, but I think he should have done his due diligence and ensure that these controversial figures, he don't put them up to represent the country because they are known to be flip-flopping, especially the two characters, the Fani Kayode, because he's always flip-flopping. He has an anger issue. I still can remember vividly about 4 years ago when somebody asked him who was bankrolling his movement around the country. I think that was leading up to the election time, and he snapped. In fact, he threatened to ensure that they fired the journalist that asked him the question. He snapped, and then I think from the backlash, due to the backlash, he apologized, but a lot of people knew that the apology did not come from the right place. So I strongly believe that Tinubu shouldn't have appointed these two people in that critical position. Maybe he would have looked for somewhere else to put them, maybe just like he did with Daniel Boala. Maybe he should have inserted them into his media team, and then people will not, raise those. Putting them to go represent the country, I think, is a bit of a stretch. I think Tinubu should have done better. However, it's still up to him. He has the discretion to appoint whoever and whomever he deems fit. And let us not also forget that this position, the non-career ambassadors or position, is for political loyalists, people that are loyal, people that have people that have the tendency to sway voters, people that can almost garner vote for him or bring vote for him. So I think that is why he went this route with these people, and hopefully they will be able to deliver to him. But then again, if you look at the bigger picture, which is Nigeria, I don't see Reno Mokri feeding. He's intelligent. He's a lawyer. He's worked for other presidents. He worked for Goodluck Jonathan. He was part of the campaign team for Atiku Abubakar. He probably have a lot of experience, but due to his outlook, his social media outlook, anybody can just look him up and then see what he stands for, what he represents. And he's been known to flip-flop. In fact, up until recently, he was calling Tinubu a drug baron. So I still do not understand why he was appointed as an ambassador. And from the antecedent of the Senate, don't forget that they just had a Foriro and Amala last night in Asoro Villa that the president's wife put up together. None of that list will be rejected. Nobody on that list will be sent back to the president for reconsideration. I highly doubt. The only person that has ever gone to the Senate for confirmation and came back without being confirmed was El-Rufai, and that was because of the fight between him and Nehu Rebadu, the NSA director. That was because of the fight between both of them. Otherwise, I don't see them sending any of those names back to the president for reconsideration.
Yep, I definitely agree with you. Again, values don't bring food on the table. People need jobs. There's no jobs out there. There are no jobs out there, and whatever people can get, they will take. If he has to kiss the ring, it's not gonna be the first person to kiss the ring and get the job. So many people have done it in the past, and many people will still do it in the future. So I'm still surprised about the former INEC chairman. It was a disappointment to Nigerians, the way he handled the 2023 election. So if this were to be in the sane environment, if this were to be in a country with a little bit of care for the people, his political career should be dead. It should never be seen in any national headlines, any national office because of how he handled the 2023 general elections. So it was a disappointment to the Nigerian people, but I guess to President Tinubu, he did his job. And we'll see what happens when the Senate decides to hear this nominee and to go through the process of either rejecting them or accepting them.
Like I said, none of those lists will be sent back to the president for reconsideration. Every single person on that list will be confirmed. And we'll see where they send them. But when they said they found about 10 billion naira, or either 10 billion naira or $10 billion in one flat in Lagos, I can't remember. They haven't given them the countries that they will be going to. But out of those three nominees, one will be going to US, one will be going to England or UK, and the other one will be going to France. But one of those guys on that list is involved with that cash that was found in an apartment in Lagos. And so it's crazy. So I just wish they would bring Reno Mokri to America. Let's see how he will work with Trump and work with Marco Rubio. But on the whole, I hope they do a good job representing the country. And if I have my way to talk to Tinubu, I will say, in order to avoid denting your image or denting your administration, just remove Reno Mokri and Fani Kayode and then look for somewhere else to put them. Somewhere that you will put them and people will not even realize that, you compensated them for their work. But making them ambassadors I think is a little bit of a stretch. Yeah. But who am I? I'm just Elvis, ordinary person. So, but I think that's what they're supposed to do. giving them ambassadorial appointment. Even Yakubu Mahmudu, Tinubu is just trying so hard to prove his critics right, and it's unfortunate that he's doing all of that. Let us know what you think about the ambassadorial list. Who would you rather see on the list than versus the people on the list? Do you have any objection to anybody on that list? Let us know what you think, and we'll be happy to engage with you.